Whether your beer is in a bottle, can, or glass, kick back and relax. It's Better on Draft.
Welcome, everybody. Episode 328 of the Better on Draft podcast. My name is Ken. Thank you so much for joining us. We truly appreciate it on this Friday, the day before the Better on Draft Beer Festival over at Jimmy John's Field. If you're listening live, we hope you do show up tomorrow. Say hi. We are going to have some extra tokens to give you. But let's go around. First of all, see what everybody is drinking, starting with our new host, officially, Dennis. Welcome. What are you drinking?
Hello. Happy to be here. I'm drinking. It was a present. It's the Franziskaner Weiss beer, and it's my first time ever having it tonight, and it is fantastic.
And who brews it?
I can't read German.
Okay. It's a very, very German beer. Wendy, what are you drinking over there? Wendy, you're muted. I muted everyone and forgot to unmute you. There you go. Hello.
So I picked up the Oberon Eclipse, which is the new off-season Oberon. I thought I'd be interested to see how it differs from regular Oberon.
And how does it differ?
It is a little more citrusy than the regular Oberon. I really like the can art, though. Like, I would actually get that as a tattoo. Not that I don't already have the Oberon face as the tattoo, but...
Well, Daniel, are you going to be getting a tattoo of your beer, and what are you drinking?
I mean, I wish I had a camera working this week. I would show you the picture on this. I've got a Beechwood Brewing mocha machine. It's an Imperial Coffee Porter out of Huntington Beach and 6th medal winner between GABF and World Beer Cup. It's actually pretty good.
Well, I'm sure we'll be talking a lot about GABF World Beer Cup for our topic today. But first, let's go over what I am drinking. I have got a beautiful 4 Elf from Dark Horse Brewing. It is in a bottle, so that's how old it is. Many, many years old. And of course, RIP, the original milkshake stout from Rochester Mills Beer Company.
I mean, RIP in a can. Let's be real.
I still have so many cases left of that beer. I don't know when I'll get through it, but I know I will get through it for sure. It is also the wintertime milkshake stout seasonals, the 12 days of milkshake stout. That's what I was going for. So I think I got 6 cases of those.
Plus one for me still.
I'm guessing so. Yes. So I guess I have 5 cases left. I don't think I'm going to drink them fast enough to say that you're lucky. You'll be lucky if they're still there.
I only like half of them anyways, so it's no big deal.
Well, we don't have a guest this week as we are kind of resetting the show with our brand new host. But before we go into our topic, which Wendy wants to talk about today, Dennis, our new host, why don't you introduce yourself to the fans? Give a little rundown about what you do, what kind of styles of beer you like, what makes you tick in the beer world. Kind of give us a breakdown, maybe a little bit about that link right under your name. If you're not watching, of course, go to youtube.com, facebook.com, or twitch.tv, all/Better on Draft.
Hi. Well, thank you. That was a very awesome introduction. My name is Dennis. I am in Holland, Michigan. I have been part of the brewing scene for a little bit, I suppose. Used to be a manager at a couple different breweries. Most recently was Guardian Brewing Company over in Saugatuck, and it was a great place to be. I no longer work there. I am a health coach for a company out of San Francisco now. It's great to be able to work remotely, but I'm still a big fan, friends with everybody around here. I got a website. It's thepintsizereview.com. It started as a joke and ended up being a lot of fun. And people send me beers from all over, and I talk about it. And one thing I like to do, instead of giving it like a number rating, like 5 out of 5 or something like that, I just try and talk about what does it pair with, right? This beer pairs well with a hockey fight or something along those lines. It's very situational. It could be, this beer is really good because it reminds me of my neighborhood bar. This beer is really good because it blew my mind with just the way it was made and the flavors and stuff. It's subjective, and it should be, in my opinion. But that's just a stupid website from a stupid person, and that's me. So, but yeah. What was the rest of your question? I have a dog. Her name's Lulu. She's a 6-month-old corgi, and she's in her kennel right now. Hopefully, she doesn't make herself known too much right now.
What kind of beers are we going to see from you drinking while you're on the show?
Yeah, if it's wet, I'll drink it.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
Fair enough.
I like that.
Do you lean towards anything? Like when you go to a brewery and you're like, oh man, I got to have at least the IPA or I got to have at least the stout.
I want. It depends on the brewery, right? What they're known for. I want to try what they're known for when I'm going for the first time. I want to see what's going to be more seasonal, and then I'm probably going to finish off with something that's going to make me forget something. But yeah, winter's coming. I'm going to be getting to those barrel aged stouts, right? I had a fantastic Oktoberfest the other day, which is what I'm leaning towards mostly for the next month, probably. Something a little bit more malt forward. But I would say I'm a seasonal drinker, right? It's going to depend on what it is outside and what we're brewing, what's fresh. Or what's not fresh, what's been aged a while, depending.
Stout, winter only or all season?
Oh, all season, right?
Okay.
Guinness is a year-round beer, right?
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
no such thing as stout season. Let's get that straight, because by definition, then there has to be an IPA season, and it's time to get those out of there if they're not gonna.
And you know
if
what?
they're gonna pretend there's a stout season.
Dan, that means that there's no such thing as a pumpkin ale season. Give me pumpkin ales all year round.
No. Oh my God, no! Let's not.
No, that's not true, because pumpkin that has a season because it's when they grow. Even though when we put pumpkin beers out now, the pumpkins aren't actually ripe, so they've screwed that
now
up a
they're
little
coming out
bit.
in the summer.
Yeah.
I don't think too many people are actually brewing with the pumpkins. I think it's all just the nutmeg and allspice. And you know what? You can make a true pumpkin ale for that. I just believe that you can make pumpkin ale all the time, and I'd be perfectly fine with that. I know Dan won't. I know he's not a big fan of the pumpkin beers.
Barrel aged Starbucks.
I tell you, like a barrel aged, like a latte, like a coffee stout.
That'd be awesome.
I mean, I'm sure there's plenty out there. Bottle Logic probably does 100 of them. But without a guest this week, we do have a topic we want to talk about today, and this is Wendy's topic. So, Wendy, take it away.
Well, I've had some friends out of town recently, and their posts on all their social medias keep coming through, and I'm trying really hard not to be envious of the fact that they're traveling to all these different breweries. But it got me thinking what my bucket list items were, not what brewery I wanted to go to, what festival I wanted to go to, things like that. So I was just wondering what everybody's bucket list items are. Is there a specific brewery that you are just dying to go to? I mean, I got the chance earlier in the year to go to Toppling Goliath. I still have to get some stuff out about that, but it was amazing. It did not hinder my view of them at all. I would love to be able to go back for, oh God, now I can't even think of the name.
Pseudo Sue.
No, the big festival, the stout that they do.
I don't remember off the top of my head.
Oh my gosh,
sure.
why did it just blank? It blanked out of my head because I don't have any notes here.
That's all right. Well, while you're thinking about the festival, let's go around. Is there any beer breweries that you just have not had a chance to visit yet that you really want to visit? Dan?
So not too many left. The only one I would think of is probably the brewery, because I planned to go there but got too drunk at Bottle Logic. So that's probably the only one. It happens. But I got too drunk. I was gonna go over to Brewery X and whoever makes that straight up off of that brown that we used to drink at the hockey stadium, or the hockey arena. But yeah, the brewery is about the only one left that I'm like, oh, I need to get there. I feel like I've hit everything else that I want to go to.
Nice. Personally, I just checked one off earlier this year, and that was going to the Burning Foot Beer Festival up in Muskegon. And that was so I didn't know what to expect, really. I just had a lot of friends like, oh, you gotta go. It's so much fun. It's on the beach. I'm like, cool, drunk people on the beach. Let's party. And I went, and it was everything I could hope for and more. Like, it was massive. They had a big like metal structure with a giant metal hop on top that would shoot flames out. I've been to a few festivals, but that was so much fun and the right attitude, the right vibe. I had such a blast. So if you guys get a chance to go next year, you absolutely should.
Now, were you front row with Ken during the Limp Bizkit cover band?
That was last year, Dan.
Oh, sorry.
There's a Limp Bizkit cover band?
Apparently,
the state of Michigan has a Limp Bizkit cover band, a Korn cover band, and a System of a Down cover band. And they do shows together. So yes, there is a Limp Bizkit cover band. Burning Foot Beer Festival is a awesome festival to go to. Yeah. Definitely one. If you get a chance to camp on the beach too on Lake Michigan, I am definitely not a camper, but I used the opportunity to camp while I was there, and it was perfect. Plus being able to just kind of like stumble over to your tent and wake up to the sounds of Lake Michigan were both great. For myself, for a brewery, I really, and this is going to sound like super weird, but I want to go see like the Anheuser-Busch Brewery. I want to go to St. Louis.
Beechwood.
I want to see the get a brewery tour, like not necessarily because most of these breweries that we go to, like we can get the beers in one form or fashion, whether it's on draft somewhere in a can or bottle from a store. But going to the Anheuser-Busch Brewery, like I would love to just go see where they just do something so consistent, so great. Kind of like that Shiner Beer Tour, a brewery tour that we did.
That's exactly what I was thinking about with that because of the scale that they have there.
Yeah, so I can only imagine how much bigger. Like when I went to the Blue Moon Brewery in Denver last year, and I didn't get a chance to really do like a tour or anything like that. You can kind of just see what's going on, but I don't think it's even their production facility.
I was going to ask, is that the major, like where they make it, or is that just like, like a tap room?
I think that was one of their tap rooms because I think it was called like Blue Moon Rhino, RINO, or whatever. Their acronyms are over there. Yeah, River North.
Yeah.
What about you, Dan? Is there a festival? Because we know you just came back from GABF for the second year in a row.
Yeah, that one kind of ruins it. I've never been to the one we do at Jimmy John's. I was going to go last year because I came back before you when I was coming out to Michigan, but due to the airline losing my luggage, I had to go back to the airport that night. Yeah. So driving out to, I can't even think of what city that is. You know me, north of
Utica.
14 mile. Yeah. Going out there and then having to go back to the airport at 8 p.m. wasn't going to work. So that's probably the one festival I'd still want to get to.
Well, that makes me very humble, but I don't think we're that important.
Yeah, I know it's not large scale. Ones that are fun. And I forgot when we were talking about this. That Royal Oak one you and I went to years ago was incredibly fun. Festivals like that are a great time.
When you attend a festival where like almost the beer is secondary, like the festival part itself, like where you're out there and you're hanging out with other people, it's definitely a lot different from when we went to that Royal Oak Festival because that was back in 2017 or 2016.
Yeah.
So that was a completely different beer scene here in Michigan versus today. Wendy, you talked about wanting to go back to the Toppling Goliath brewery, but what about like beer festivals? Is there one that you haven't really hit yet yourself?
Well, I still have not made it to Burning Foot, even though it gets on my list every year, and every year something comes up that weekend, so I can't go. I tried even blocking it off a year ahead of time last year, and it still didn't work. And GABF. I was in Denver 3 days before GABF last year.
Yeah, last year, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I missed
right
it.
Before we went.
But that also reminds me, when I was in Golden, at that time, I was supposed to do the Coors tour, and I was really excited about that. And they ended up, the day that we were supposed to do the tour, they ended up doing a big appreciation for their employees. So they shut down the plant so that their employees could have some fun before GABF, which I thought was really cool, except for the fact that then I missed the tour.
Oh, man. Yeah, it's one of those catch-22. It's like, oh, yes, good. Treat your employees well. But me.
Yeah, but what about me?
Like, can I pretend I'm an employee?
Right. I'm
clocking.
I'll wash some dishes. Yeah, I'll help you with the bottling. I'll
Wash
wipe
some
some
kegs,
surfaces
yeah.
down. Yeah, wash some kegs.
Heck yeah, I've washed some stuff out before.
Dennis, you mentioned Burning Foot, but what about a brewery?
Oh, that's right. Okay, so brews, I want to go to them all, but right now I have my eyes set on one, Batch Brewing Company over in Corktown, Detroit. Really cool people, really cool what they're doing coming up too. But I've been there a couple times, and every time I know that I'm going to be there again, I'm just so excited. So heading to Detroit for Thanksgiving, spend some time with some family, and that's going to be our first stop, is hitting up Batch Brewing Company. Just hanging out. I know they get some of their hops from the UP. Their Empire hops, I believe, is what they get from up there. And just they always have solid stuff, always have solid food, solid beers, and just really cool people. I remember ordering beer. Can I get this? And the server looked me dead in the eyes, goes, "All right," and just turns around, starts pouring. Like I was nothing, and it was cool. I was like, "You're so cool right now." I was just a really cool vibe there, and I've been dreaming about it.
I think we've talked about what makes a brewery, and there's definitely breweries out there that, you know, can be considered quote unquote small time. Like Batch isn't necessarily the largest brewery, but when you get, you know, something that really sticks, like the Alchemist over in Burlington is a great brewery, but it's because of where it is. It's located in such a beautiful area that you can just kind of sit outside and enjoy, like, you know, the Northeast area in Vermont, and enjoy the weather and enjoy the nature. And those are always a lot of fun for me. Like I talk about wanting to go to Anheuser-Busch. I do think on top of my bucket list too is going to be Funky Buddha. You know, they have easily my favorite beer that's ever been produced. I love it
Key
every
West,
time I
right?
get it. I think so. Yeah. And it's a beer that just kind of sits on the shelf down in Florida, and I just can't necessarily get it all the time. So going to the brewery would be nice, but also, you know, supporting them by being there, I think, is always great. And also trying stuff on draft, because everybody knows it's better on draft.
I've heard that name somewhere.
Funky Buddha is in Oakland Park, Florida.
Oh, okay.
I did
No
get the
idea where
chance
that
to go
is.
there once, and they were promoting their. It was the pig one, the.
Well, it's not the Magnalista Porter, because that's Right Brain. I was made with Scrapple too. All right, she's looking at
their OP Porter.
OP Porter.
But it's a smoked ham porter.
Wait, what? What?
Yeah.
Amazing.
Well, remember the one made with like $100 bills from Griffin Claus called like Miso Ornery or something?
No, you're thinking not.
Oh, am I thinking a different beer? Well, that's the Kim Jong-un beer. Is what I'm thinking
Miso
about.
Ornery was the Kim Jong-un beer. The Big Ass Money, I think, is what it was called. And
made with like $100 bills
and frozen pizzas.
No, that's right. And frozen pizzas. We had it back in the very early days of the show. It was an interesting beer.
It's less of a beer and more of a soup.
Yeah. So something, Dennis, you brought up something that caught my attention. So Batch is something you always try to go to every time you come into the Detroit area. So what's everybody's go-to breweries when you go to a certain area? That's what I'm kind of interested of. Because like for me, when I come to Michigan, it's unexpected. And I always make time for it because I really do think Eddie makes some of the best stouts in the country. I've had a lot of them, and he really does make some of the best. And I know he got trained out at the Speedway Stout guys. I'm trying to think of the name of the brewery off my head in San Diego. Thank you. So if he learned there, like he was telling us about, that's a good place to learn. So that's one I always have to go to. But yeah, I'm curious then, do you guys all have must-go breweries when you go to a certain spot? What about you, Ken?
I'm trying to think of spots that I typically go to a lot. For me, going to say like Three Floyds is always just like a necessary stop on the way to Chicago. So not necessarily
example.
Yeah, not necessarily, you know, going there to go there in that area, but on the way to Chicago, I'll always stop at Three Floyds. I think for me also, there was a point in time where anytime I was in Grand Rapids or the Grand Rapids area, I was stopping at Jade and James. I was getting that monkey butter
stuff.
Yeah. And bringing it back. Like that was just a must stop. But now that I go into these other cities, or if I'm going to Detroit myself, I definitely will try to hit up. If it all depends on the area too. Like that's so hard to really say because they're in like different little segregated areas.
Sure.
Yep. You know, I would think something would come to mind, but really nothing. Because like if I'm going up into like Midtown, like I want to go to Motor City. Like that's a must stop. Like I have to go to Motor City. I need pizza. I need beer. My Ghetto Blaster, my Nut Bandit. But if I'm going to downtown. Downtown, I'm probably
like
going to make
area.
I'm probably still going to make the trek out to Faison.
Good brewery too. Yeah,
because even so, like I think Corktown is its own little entity, and there's even another brewery coming up into Corktown by the end of the year that should be coming up here soon. So
it's a really good question though, and to be honest, I haven't had a chance to travel much lately. I mean, ever since 2020, travel's been a little bit harder. And so some of the places I liked, they're gone or I just haven't been there in years, just, the state of things. But yeah, like you mentioned, when I'm going to Detroit, it's like, I got to stop at Batch. I'm getting the shakes. I need it,
And, need your fix.
Yeah. It's good stuff and good people. And that ties it together, like that whole vibe, right? Festival sometimes is more about the vibe than is even about the beer, and some places are the exact same way. I know this corner of this pub, so
and before we get to you real quick, Wendy, another thing too, my new GABF tradition on Wednesday night is going to True and to also Dark Black Sky. What's that?
Also a very good brewery.
Yeah, and they're both heavy metal themed, so that's right up my alley. The beer is excellent, but it's also secondary, so it's a great spot. Now, what about you, Wendy? You travel a lot. Is there somewhere you must stops? You probably have a few.
So, we've talked about Batch already a lot on this this podcast, but I have friends that actually make a joke of the fact that I can make Batch on my way home from anywhere, to the point where I actually did a post about it the other day, and I was like, this is definitely on my way home from Troy. Not at all. But girls got to eat. So Batch is definitely one that I will end up at most often. Arclight, it's hard for me to go past them without stopping there. Their Snickerdoodle Porter is one of the best things I've ever had. Agma, it's hard to drive past Jackson. If I'm going out of town, I'm stopping on the way out or I'm stopping on the way in for sure. And then
March Draftness winners.
Out of state, Indianapolis. If I am in that area, I am going to Deviate Brewing no matter what. I love their beer so much. And their vibe actually reminds me a lot of Batch.
I'm in.
Oh, nice.
So, from the very beginning, I was like, I felt just as home there as I do at Batch. So that was kind of my thing.
From the Facebook page, going back to beer festivals, and I think this is one that is on my list of things I still need to get to. There's two that I want to get to. One that I'm hoping to get to next month, and then another one next year. FOBAB is coming up in November, the Festival of Barrel-Aged Beers in Chicago, which is easily a top beer festival over there. And then, of course, the Great Taste of the Midwest. There is also a secondary part of that festival if you get a chance to go with the Coonan Brewers Guild. You don't need to be a part of it. But they take the bus up there, so they drive you up there. You can, room with everyone and, be in the same hotel. Everyone's bringing their own beers, bringing their own home brews. It's a party on the way up there, party all the way back. So definitely a great opportunity to go and, drink beer. Again, Great Taste. That's one of those festivals that sells out every year. It doesn't matter. So make sure you get your tickets early and go hang out there for sure. Carla agrees with me. FOBAB is great. What about you, Dan? Like you you mentioned Colorado, but what about like, where you are local in
true,
Tempe,
Black Sky.
Phoenix, or you go to LA plenty of times? Like what's your go-tos other than Michigan and Colorado?
So my go-tos actually wouldn't be in the LA area. Well, I mean, if you're in Orange County, Anaheim, you're going to go to Bottle Logic. That's a must stop. But actually I go to San Diego more, and the two that I need to stop out there every single time are Pizza Port and oh my God, now I'm having a brain fart like Wendy did.
I think it's
Victory
just
at
the
Sea,
day.
guys. Ballast Point are the two that are must stops for me. Every time I go out there, I would try to get to McKellar, that's now closed, and I would try to get to Stone, and it would just never happen because those two are just too dang good as far as that goes. In Arizona, the big one is Dark Sky up in Flagstaff. That's a must stop too. But as far as in Phoenix, there aren't really a lot that are like must go to. The best breweries are in Flagstaff. I know the guys over at the shop told us they didn't think so, but when we did that show with them. But yeah, a lot of the Phoenix breweries are just there. The one I took you to when you first came out years ago, called Fate, is really good. But other than that, there's nothing you're like, I have to go there. They're just kind of there.
Well, continuing the conversation with bucket lists, it wouldn't be complete without bucket list beers. What are everyone's bucket list beers? The beers that they just have yet to try, that they've wanted to try, that's always been out of their reach, whether it's been due to distribution, due to the fact that it is just super rare. What is out there for you? Wendy, I'm sure you've got a few.
So my brain fart from earlier, KBBS, that is still to this day the one that eludes me. Even though I was able to go there, I still couldn't get any KBBS.
Yeah, KBBS, and then SR71 from Toppling Goliath too is another one that is. Both of them are on my list of beers that I would like to try soon, or one day, I guess you should say. It doesn't matter if it's soon, as long as I get a chance at it. What about you, Dennis?
I cannot remember the name of this beer, but it's from Three Floyds, and they release it every year at their Dark Lord days. Yeah, Dark Lord days. And I've never had it. I know it's gone immediately, and I've never had the opportunity to go to their big old metal festival, right? So I'd like to make that happen someday.
That's actually kind of shocking that, Dan, you didn't pick Dark Lord Day as like your festival, since they'll get like big metal bands there. And
so it's funny, the one that I thought about after we were talking about that is when they did the LA version of the Metal and Beer Fest that the guy didn't get back to us till last minute. I had other plans, and then they've never done it out here again. I don't know if it didn't do well, but they have the one in Philly still. That's on the bucket list. I wish it was still on this side of the country, but
there's one in Denver this year.
Oh, is there?
Yep, December 1st and 2nd.
Oh, we'll have to talk about that offline. We might have to try to make that happen.
Philly has some good beer too. I'm
looking at some of the names of the artists, and I couldn't tell you one of them. I got Primitive Man, Ken Mode. That's a good name.
That's you,
is that your band?
The Red Chord, I could read that one.
Where you look at the logos.
Yeah,
you're trying to figure it out.
Looks like the back of a bus seat, just a bunch of cracks. Yeah.
Yeah,
those are the best logos.
There's some that like the one for Agaloch, Agallocch. Like you could see it, but then there's some that like I'm looking at this list, and you cannot. There is absolutely no way you're going to be able to tell some of the names of this. And thankfully, because we are online, I can share with you.
Yay!
This could be a game where you just have to guess the name of the band.
Yeah. Okay. This is like the Marvel Cinematic Universe of metal bands.
So
I have a Mr. Bungle shirt where they did a play on the thrash metal or the death metal logos. Like, this is great. Is that the Munsters? Is that the name of that one?
That's what I saw too.
I think it's the Munsons, like Roy E.
Oh, okay.
This is amazing, and I'm scared of reading him backwards and summoning Satan, but it looks great. I want to go. Ken Mode. That is your band, but you're covering Depeche Mode.
Yeah, so you go there and it's Ken singing Depeche Mode covers in just a thong and nothing else.
Oh dear God!
Thanks for the image. I don't want it.
Oh,
Have this back. I love it.
So this is the Metal and Beer Festival. Decibel Magazine puts this on once or twice per year. Yeah, as you can see by the giant decibel. So this is going to be in Denver, Colorado. It's presented by True.
It Relapse Records.
Yeah, I don't know. Again, here's that Little Cottage Brewery, Dan. That's probably up your alley with that.
Probably
kind of
there's Black Sky. There's Three Floyds.
Three Floyds.
No, Three Floyds has done a lot of the metal band Spears, if you recall back in the day.
Well, their Dark Lord Day is a huge metal beer, like metal festival. Like they bring in some of the best metal bands. I would guess. I don't know much about metal bands.
I tried to get tickets like 4 years in a row. We had 3 of us trying to get tickets, and we could never get them. So I kind of gave up.
That's
for
awesome.
Dark Lord Day.
Yeah, but I have friends every year.
They don't come out in 2022, 2023. So I think you can go next year. Looks like it's May 18th next year, 2024. I don't see any updates regarding when tickets will go on sale. You can get a email notification for when it does get on sale, but yeah.
Do you get advanced tickets, Ken, because of Ken Mode?
I mean, I should just be like, yeah, this is Ken, the titular artist from the band Ken Mode.
Just show up and be like, yeah, tickets for Ken. Awesome. And they'll just let you in. They'll just let you in, man.
Yeah, I'm with the band. I'm Ken of Ken Mode. There you go.
Mode, Ken. Present.
Yeah, so last year, Dark Lord Day had Cannibal Corpse, Pelican, Enforced, and a special guest, which this was obviously a promo, so I have no idea who the special guest was. But yeah, it happens.
Corpse.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
That's what I was saying. Like I recognize the name, therefore I know that it's a decent sized band for what it was. Municipal Waste, that was the special guest.
Oh boy, yeah, that's another good one.
I was gonna say I recognize the name, so that's how big they are.
Yeah.
We'll have to go. I have to go. I must go.
Dennis, what's your music?
Apparently, I'm getting soft in my old age.
my music.
I don't know who those are.
Okay, I'm a big Dave Grohl fan. Like anything that he's touched, I'm in. He had a really cool metal band that he recorded all the music for back in the day called Probot. He did all the instruments and then had different metal singers singing on that. And that is I pretty much wore out the CD on that back in high school. Not just metalhead though. I love rock. I love blues. And I don't know, man. Like I used to play a lot of music back in college. Just how I paid my rent. I was in like 10 different bands. So if it has live people on stage, I'm going to probably enjoy something about it.
Yeah, I agree with that. So I'm going to put you on the spot real quick. Ooh. Nirvana, greatest thing Dave Grohl ever touched, or overrated?
Oh, I can't say it's overrated, but I'm not going to say it's the greatest thing he ever touched.
Yeah, see, I think they're overrated, especially when it comes to grunge music. I've never understood the obsession, but that's my opinion, of course.
That's okay.
I don't want 1-star reviews on iTunes.
They're talking about beer is really cool until they start talking about Nirvana and they suck.
Yeah.
You probably like Pearl Jam better.
No, Alice in Chains. They're still kings of grunge. Yeah.
I was a Chris Cornell fan though, so Soundgarden.
You very good too.
Yeah,
oh yeah.
Yeah. R.I.P. Rip in peace.
Yeah. What about you, Wendy? What's your musical go-to?
Usually musicals.
That's fine.
All right. Yeah.
No, I listen to everything. So my favorite band to see live ever is Papa Roach. They have the best stage
Jacoby
presence
and
to
the
me.
boys.
They're always so excited to be there, and I love the feeling that I get when I watch them. But I love a lot of different music, so there's really not anything that I don't listen to. I'm not as a fan of the new country as I was of older country.
Well, it's more poppy now, isn't it? Like pop music, basically, or almost like country rock is
pop
what it
with the
is.
twang.
You're
Yeah, pop
looking
with the
more
twang.
like country hip hop, like with the
Well, I was thinking
808.
about like that
the-
Jason Aldean song that caused all that controversy, things
What
like
is
that.
They in my opinion, what you see with a lot of modern country, because they're adding like the 808s and stuff. There was a pretty good not a documentary, but like one of those YouTube essayists that came out and had like a really professional done and talked like with a lot of people in the industry after what was the Old Town Road guy?
Lil Nas X.
Yeah, the old
Yeah.
Nas X. So he came out and had like this, and then this guy's like, "Here you go. I'm just gonna play a bunch of brand new, country songs," and played all these songs. Like, here's the 808s, here's this, and it's for a lot of people like music is always evolutionary and is always borrowing from other artists. So you're going to see rock get a little bit more country get a little bit more hip hop. You know what? Hip hop get a little bit more country.
Well, think about it. If you go back in the day when the metal or the rock and rap scene kind of blended together, like think about Anthrax and what's that Chuck D and Flava Flav band? I can't think of the name, what they go by, and Aerosmith
Public
and
Enemy?
Run DMC. Yeah, Public Enemy. Thank you. But then it developed into new metal, which look at Slipknot. They're one of the biggest bands in the world, and and
Slipknot,
all those
yeah.
bands, especially in the early 2000s. So they do blend together and take from each other. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah, there was a good documentary series that the Foo Fighters put out a few years ago now. It's called Sonic Highways, and they recorded a song in a different city, right? Each song was in a different city. And when they recorded in Nashville, they got to talk to a bunch of like the old country artists and stuff, like Willie Nelson, Dolly Parton, and they're like, yeah, country, like they like their singers and they like their songwriters, but they don't like their singer-songwriters. So that's where you see a lot of like the not musical influence, but the corporate influence, especially in modern country as well. And they did a really good deep dive into that. Highly recommend that.
Well, there's, if you look at some of the old country, like the Willie Nelson type country, Johnny Cash, like it is very, very what we would consider like progressive messaging. Like fuck the cops, fuck the police, fuck the prison system, fuck capitalism. Like these are things that everyone was singing back in the 60s and 70s in that genre. And as things progressed, like country, the message kind of changed. And I think Bo Burnham, pretty much puts a cherry on the top of that sundae of how new country is. Like, oh, you're driving your F-150 that's never seen a dirt road before. That kind of thing. I'm actually looking at Sonic Highways. So this was back in 2014.
Yeah.
So a little bit ago.
We are getting older.
Yeah. Well, Dan,
I still think the 90s were like 5 years ago.
Right?
You bring up metal all the time. I mean, what's on your playlist when it's not those metal type bands?
What else do I listen to?
Yeah.
A lot of industrial, it's all metal basically, but industrial is the other big go-to. Be Born Baton put out a hell of an album this year, not too long ago, which has been my jam. I've probably played out, I only buy vinyl now when it comes to buying music, and I've probably played that thing 50 times so far. It's probably halfway through its life. But I like to go towards, some of the stuff like, Taproot. Unfortunately, I had to miss that show, but, some of the not heavy stuff, but, Taproot's great. Chevelle's coming to town where I'm at pretty soon. I'm going to go check that out. Things like that. Not the deep, heavy stuff, but, the more fun, upbeat type of stuff. I'm trying to think like Seven Dust is probably metal. Another one's coming. Or even the fun stuff like a Dragon Force is something I'll go listen to. Some little, what they refer to themselves as video game metal. But yeah, things like that. Just the lighter stuff, but still on the harder side.
My favorite thing to see, if you have not seen it on TikTok, but the lead singer, I think, of Dragon Force is on TikTok, or at least one of the head guys, and he reacts to people who do Through the Fire and Flames, but typically on like non-standard instruments. So
It's
like
a guitar player. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So he'll be like, he'll look at it and it's someone doing it on the harp and doing it naturally on the harp, or someone doing it on a weird, maybe like a Asian type string instrument that not many people know about or understand how it's played. And so that's always fun to see.
Yeah, I love watching those, because he gets this, and I won't take up too much time with this, but the reactions he gets from it, because that's a song, he even explains it. You can't play it on one guitar. You need both of them to actually do it. People try, and the way to see people adapt it is a lot of fun.
I think that's also a big thing with music, especially in 2023, and the ability to get your content out. Wading through a lot of bad content is fine, but there are a lot of people. I can't tell you how many times, if I hear a song and like I want to listen to like an acoustic version or someone do a cover of that song, and it could be a rap song, could be a rock song, but anything like where I can get a different feel for that track. Acapella, like I'll be an acapella nerd. Like I used to watch that Nick Lachey TV show that was like the acapella competition, the reality show. I was gonna say,
were you watching Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego?
Oh yeah. Oh,
the acapella group they had on there.
Somebody did a Where Are They Now with that acapella group that did the intro theme with the guy with that really deep voice. I was like, Carmen Sandiego. That was my impression. And that's still it's still 8 octaves too high. But yeah, I love reaching out. Sorry, Wendy. I see you're ready to chat. I love looking for alternative content to current music. I was leaving that opening for you, Wendy.
Oh, I like that. Now, I wanted to go back to the acapella thing. So are you talking about just the acapella singing, or like the acapella music where they make the instrument noises with their mouth?
Like that guy from
one guy's a trombone. I can't remember the name of the group that got really big with that.
Yeah,
it freaks me out when they do that. Freaks me out. Like I can't handle it.
I've seen the Pentatonics live, and I saw them at the Fox. And they did a no mic song. They did Oh Holy Night. It was their Christmas tour. And at the Fox in Detroit, if you're not unaware, the acoustics there are so like amazing, especially for the time it was built, like how they were able to do this. And I'm sitting in the 300s and they're singing Oh Holy Night, no mics, no extra content, everyone quiet. And you could hear it as if you were standing right next to them. Like that's how bone chilling it was to hear that song from that far away, but all vocal. So yeah, I do like the music. I definitely like a little bit more doo-wop. So if you get like not necessarily like a barbershop quartet, but like the old school like foursome that's singing Motown, like Aretha Franklin, that's the kind of music that I would definitely be more akin to. There is on YouTube, and I've been racking my brain this whole time trying to think of the name of that damn show. Nick Lachey hosted it. That's all I remember. But they did the what's the Caddyshack song? Is it I'm All Right, or is it an actual?
Yeah, the Kenny Loggins song.
Kenny Loggins, yes. They did that song in a cappella, and it was a group called the Philharmonic, which was all Filipino, hence the name Phil Harmonic. And
amazing.
I think it was.
I love that name.
It might have been the Sing Off, yeah. It probably is. You just looked it up. And they did it against like a country group that does like country a cappella. And they got like one of the country guys, they taught him how to beatbox, and it was a fun little event. So like that kind of stuff always, I love hearing, as I said, different types of music, but I know we've kind of gone way off track. This is better on vinyl, better on music, better on Spotify. Vinyl, yeah. You know what? That's fine. It's a fun show today. No guests today. We're here to have fun. Folks, if you're not live with us, join us live Fridays, 7:15 p.m. Eastern. We are on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. You can interact with us just like Carla's done earlier today. Tell us your favorite bands, your favorite artists, what you like to listen to. But there was a question.
That goes for Toots, too.
That goes for Toots McCrog, yes, over in Twitch. I haven't seen Toots show up yet. My question is that when you are at a ballpark, a hockey arena, a concert, when you go to drink beer, do you want to drink like beer that's, solid, easy to drink, or are you still looking for that craft beer when you go to these types of events?
Oh, I totally look for the craft beer.
Really?
Yeah.
I was at the Iron Maiden concert at Little Caesars back in October. 100% found the craft beer bar and was drinking whatever was there. And then even at the State Theater, trying to drink whatever the most craft, like it was like Mango Cart or something, because they have all Anheuser-Busch. So getting the most craft beer possible is what I do. And same out here, Ken, you've been to a show out here. We were drinking Kilt Lifter. Yeah, it's an Anheuser-Busch, but it's Arizona only beer that you're going to find. So that's always fun to find, because you'll find that at arenas. It won't be craft, quote unquote, because Anheuser-Busch bought them or someone to that extent, but it's one of those craft breweries that used to be a craft brewery that they're still producing their stuff.
I think when I say craft, I imply not light lager.
Oh, I see what you mean. But I'm never looking for a ultra or a triple hopped Miller Lite.
I mean, for me, like I'm going to the Lions game on Sunday, and I know damn well, like I'll probably like on the way to the arena, we park at MGM and walk to Ford Field. Like I'll be drinking a Tall Boy or Labatt probably on the way there, and then when we get in there, I might. Nice. Yeah, oh yeah. And then on the way there, or when we get there, I don't. The craft beer options, I'm not going to lie, at Ford Field are trash.
They're bad, but
it's like 4 IPAs.
Yeah, I was going to say, what were we drinking at SummerSlam? It was really middle of the road kind of stuff.
I feel like I was drinking Miller Lite at SummerSlam.
You might have been. And I think I had like a Bell's Two Hearted or something like that. And Mike was drinking similar, and so was Nick. But yeah, that's the best that you get there.
I want to hop in on this because it once again, that's that dependent on the situation kind of thing, right? So if I'm at a game, you're right. You're probably not going to have a really great selection of craft beer. If I see something like a Two Heart or something, I'll get that. But for some reason, I'm going to a hockey game. I'm thinking Coors, like that's what I associate with a hockey game or something along those lines. And I'm not going to be too picky when I get there. For some reason, that's just what tastes like a good time to me while watching a bunch of guys beat the shit out of each other on the ice. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's funny you bring that up. Oh, I'm sorry. One second, Wendy. I didn't mean to cut you off there.
No,
but it's funny. I go to a lot of hockey games in Arizona, and we have a 5,000-seat arena, and they have Grand Canyon Brewing selling beer there. So you can get a good amber at least, or you can get, your generic Miller Lite, Mick Ultra, your $40 double shot of vodka and soda. So yeah, I feel like we're lucky because we have that. And Ken, the beer I thought about when we were in Las Vegas was Golden Road. Get up off of that brown. That's one of those ones that are an Anheuser-Busch owned brewery, but it's nice to find at an arena.
Yeah,
Sorry, Wendy,
I'm always going for the craft beer first. If not, it's going to be like a PBR or a Coors, depending on what they have to offer, because sometimes they're not great craft beers.
I heard that PBR is still the biggest craft brewer in the nation.
It's the biggest craft beer in the nation. Ken, you got to tell your Lefindamund story.
Oh my God. So that's definitely I'm about to say a crime of opportunity, which I feel like it was after the amount that I drank. So for me, I'll preface this with, if it costs for a 12-ounce craft beer the same as a 24-ounce Miller Lite, I'm going with the 24-ounce Miller Lite. Not because I want to get more drunk. Obviously, the ABV is probably the same when you add it all up. But for me, I want to be able to just drink the beer throughout the event. Like I want to be able to sip on it. It's just what it is. Like when I go bowling, I drink Miller Lite. I don't drink Alaskan Amber, which they have on draft, or Oktoberfest. I'm still curious how long that Amber keg has been there, because it's always on tap, and I've never seen it change. I see the Sam Adams one change. I never see the Alaskan Amber change. But there was a time, so this would have been 2016, 2017. I got this was at Joe Louis Arena, and the Rave tent. Rave is a distributor here in Metro Detroit. The Rave tent, which had all the craft beers and imports and stuff, had Lafin-de-Mun 23 ounces for, I think it was like $9. And I looked at it and I'm like, you're joking. Like, this is wrong. Like, it can't be right. And the first one cashed through. And, you know, whenever you buy something and you think the price is wrong, you're like, oh, I'll try it just in case. And the price was right. And I remember just stumbling back and forth, because I didn't drive, so I could do whatever I wanted, and buying Lafin-de-Mun. And at the last one, walking those JLA stairs down from the top of the 200s was a experience, to say the least. But I also think at that time, I was definitely still, when in those types of events, I was a ABV per dollar drinker. And Lafin-de-Mun is an amazing beer, and nothing against that, but I was definitely drinking ABV per dollar to get the most messed up at that event.
See, and I would have just picked the Lafin-de-Mun because it's a good beer.
I think it was a little bit of both. I mean, there are times where I've drank Dragon Mead's Final Absolution because it was the same price as, you know, Miller Lite or something like that. And I'm like, oh, well, I'm going to drink Final Absolution because I'm going to get really hammered.
Nothing is better
than the same price.
Nothing is better than the $5 Boombas. You could get a Final Absolution at the East Point Pub.
That's insane.
$10 was all you needed for the night.
Yeah, you could get probably like $7.50, 23 ounces at. I'm trying to think of whatever a place that I hosted trivia on the east side, and I remember I drank 3, stood up, sat down, and yeah, I stayed there for like 2 extra hours playing music for free because I was like, I can't drive anywhere. Like I am way too messed up. But
that's as bad as when you were 19 and at Augie's for Boomba night.
I never went to Augie's at 19 to drink, sir.
Sorry, my bad.
Not that statute of limitations is up and the bar is closed, so they can't even get an MLCC. All right, so we have a few minutes left before we take our break for the craft beer news. Of course, you can always join us live. Please join us, chat with us, interact with us, especially when we have a guest on. You can ask guest questions. We're going to be having plenty of guests coming up soon to talk with, just like we had Wendy Yingling on earlier this year. We've also had Jeff and Marcy Larson from Alaskan Brewing. We've had the folks over at Sierra Nevada. We've had the brewery. We've had plenty of the beers that we want to drink, the places we want to go. We've had many of them on our show, so go check out our 400 plus episodes. Who have we not had?
Trogs.
We have not had
Trogs on our show yet.
Wendy, I have
to go back to that drinking a Mad Alpha till I can get them on the show.
I have reached out to Trogs, but I want to ask you guys one final question, a bucket list, but more of a goal set. So for the year, the fiscal year 2023-2024 of Better on Draft, so year number 9, because that is the year we're in, year number 9 of podcasting. What is your goal for that when we celebrate our 9th year anniversary that you want to be telling us you did in the past year? Is it a festival? Is it a beer? Is it a brewery? Wendy, you are the most traveled, I think, out of all of us right now with all the volunteer work that you do and all the traveling that you do for fun. What is the one thing you want to say you've done this year?
I think I would like to go to Toppling Goliath for the KBBS release.
KBBS release. We're holding you to it. Daniel.
Oh, so I originally was going to say open every beer we have at the 9th anniversary. Maybe at episode number 400.
I hate you so much.
Oh, I wish you were there, Dennis. I wish you were there for that night.
There will be a
but
night.
let's see. Yeah,
I would say go listen to episode 300, but we recorded that well before you opened up every beer.
yeah, that was a good episode. That was a
Very
really
good
good
episode.
episode. Geez, you know what? I'm gonna throw this out here because he told me to reach out to him. Let's get oh God, I don't want to get, who do I want to get? Do I want to get Sam or do we want to get, no, we want to get Jim. Let's get Jim Cook on the here before the 9th anniversary.
All right, we bring back Boston Beer Company with Jim.
Yeah.
Dennis, you're the new guy. It doesn't have to be
I
a
am.
better on draft specific bucket list item, but what is your goal for the next year, especially now that you're on the show? Like what are we going to see from you next year?
When's the 9th anniversary?
It'll be October, with the first episode of October 2024.
All right. Okay. We can do a lot by then, and I can do a lot by then. I want to actually get to sit down with everybody on this podcast in a room. I want to drink a few too many beers with you guys. That's what I want to do. I want to hang out, I want to party, and I want to meet more people that are fans of this podcast, and I want to take it to the next level. I think we can do that. I'm really, really, really excited.
Well, damn, I don't have to say that now.
It's funny. I ran into people at GABF that listened to it. It kind of, I messaged Ken when it happened. It kind of caught me off guard.
You're like,
in the
nerds.
nicest way possible, Dan, you do have a look.
Did they recognize
Oh,
you?
I totally do. Yeah. Well, they recognize the name on the badge. I totally have a look. I stand out in the crowd. I'm 6'3". I got this damn beard. I got long hair. I stand out for sure. But yeah, they would notice it.
Sunglasses on indoors.
Yep. Even at midnight. Yeah, of course.
I'm going to look like a hobbit standing next to all y'all.
No.
No, no.
No.
Wendy's pretty short.
Yeah, when Wendy is pretty short. I think she still has Nick though.
I do.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah,
I
I'm
do.
sure you do.
Not by much.
So I have a few different goals. The podcast goal, I have 3 breweries that I really, really, really want to get on. Or people, I should say, because one of them is Charles Papazian, former president of the Brewers Guild. I want to bring on one day to hear everything from Kings and Convicts. I want the Ballast Point story. I want, even if it's just Ballast Point, I want the Ballast Point story.
Have we reached out to them at all?
Yes.
You ever hear back?
Lastly, I want to be able to, one, present some extra content for everyone here, including getting some stories about breweries that are no longer with us and why they are no longer with us. I think there are plenty of stories out there as to the rise and falls of some of these breweries from, and these are going to be more local to the Michigan folks here. That includes potentially talking with Bobby Mason, Michigan Beer Company, talking with the folks at Cellarman's, to hear that story and see what they're doing. There, Mark Larson over at Falling Down, like, there's a lot of things both brewery owners and fans of beer can learn from these people. And I want to be able to tell that story. So that is my goal by the end of year 9. We bring you some extra content regarding that. And not to hark down as to why they failed or anything like that, but simply to, again, as we do with every brewery, tell their story and hopefully people can learn from it. So that is going to do it. We're going to take a break if you're listening live for about 10 minutes. We are going to come back with the craft beer news. This is the first time I've ever done this. So no matter what you think of your beer, we think it's better on draft. Have a good night.
Cheers.